applying for jobs internationally, the key thing to success is making sure that you show your expertise, you show your skills, you show your experience in the most effective and culturally appropriate way. And I'll be showing you the tips of doing this, so make sure you stick around and watch this video to the end. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Cynthia, and on this channel I talk about nursing, working in the UK as a nurse, and every bit of anything I feel like talking about. So on today's video I'm going to be telling you how to make your CV exceptional and how to impress your next manager. So when it comes to applying for jobs, you want to make your CV as clear and as easy as possible. You don't want to confuse your next manager. You want to show them that you have the skills, the experience, and everything they want for the job, and also the practical knowledge of the job, right? So not every country expects the same thing from a winning CV. You have to think about what the employers in different countries would like to see in a CV. Your CV should be very understandable, and the person reading it should be able to understand it very easily. Go straight to it, go straight to the point. Don't cut corners, don't jump right everywhere and then arrive to the point of the CV. So you have to make it straightforward, you have to make it understandable, because I mean, you can't just talk about writing a CV without thinking about the other person that is gonna read it. That person doesn't know you, the person doesn't even know you from anywhere. So you have to go straight to the point and make it understandable for anybody at all reading it. So whether this is your first care job or second one, you want to take the time out to sit down and write your CV properly. So I've put together the tips that will help you to put down your CV in a proper way and impress your next employer and land that job that you've been wanting to land. So at the end of it, I'll be dropping down a template as well to help you and guide you throughout the writing of your CV. So number one tip for writing a care assistant CV or a nurse CV for international job, especially for UK job, is no matter where you're applying from, it's very important to keep your CV as short as possible. So make it 2 pages or even 1 page. So the next thing you want to do is to write a very short personal statement. So personal statement is where you show the employer your selling point. You show them that you've got what they wanted. You've showed them at this point that this job is just you. You've been wanting it, and that you're the right fit for the job. So this is where you use your universal selling points, or just any selling point that you think that you have, any advantage that you think that you may have above every other applicant. So you have to write down, just take your pen and tell the employer what you have, the qualification you have, the expertise you have in one area of care. So maybe you have a very good expertise in diabetes, or in care of older ones, or maybe in dementia care. This is where you write it down and write your qualification, the exceptional things you achieved together with your application, together with your qualification. So for example, we could be two that went to uni for a course, and one person might stand out being very exceptional, and the other person might be average student. So this is the point you have to tell your employer that, oh, I was the best graduate student, I have this good expertise in care of elderly. Oh, I think, so you have to show your selling points at the stage of writing your personal statement and make it very understandable, clear and concise. Oftentimes people just write, oh, I'm empathetic, oh, I like caring for people, oh, I do this, I do that, without pointing out the key fact that the manager will be looking out for. Many people could be, empathetic or knows how to care for people, but what makes you stand out? What is that thing that you think that makes you stand out? So it's also a good practice to use just Arial black font for writing. So make sure everything you're writing is just in Arial black or Talma, or just simple ones. Don't complicate things. So the next thing you would like to do as well is to write your employment history. So any gap in employment, you have to be accountable for it. So for example, if you work from 2016 till 2018, and then from 2018 till 2019 you were off from work, you have to tell on your CV what you were doing that period of time, even if it's a charity work or you're just doing unpaid job in a hospital or care home or living carer or caring for an older one or any of those stuff. So you have to write down like all your employment history, everywhere you've worked, every single place you've worked in, even the ones that you think that are not important, they are important, because all of this will show the manager your expertise and how you know the job. And for every employer that you write down on the employment history section, you also have to write the few responsibilities that you were doing there. So it might be different, like what you do in a care home might be different from what you do when you work in a charity organization. So you have to write these things. Write what you did in a care home, maybe about the responsibilities of what you did when you're working in a care home. Then you can write maybe a foundation, Cynthia's Foundation charity, blah blah blah, that you work there as a support worker. Then under it you write like the things you did there as well. Maybe 3 or 4 is okay for this section. So make sure you have a detailed employment history as well, because this will convince the hiring manager about how well you know the job. The next step is to write your achievements. That's when you're done with the employment history. Write your achievements. So in the achievements section, it could be little things that you think that they're not achievements, but really they are. So things like, I arranged maybe a singing class for residents, like maybe a guitar class, or you arranged some of bubble or something like that. Like anything that you did, even having a positive feedback from a patient or from colleagues, or maybe award in your hospital or in your care home or anywhere you've worked for, those are achievements, right? Those are achievements, and you need to point this out, because it's just not you applying for the job. You just have to like do everything possible to be called for an interview, right? So point out that, oh, I've done this, I've done that, this is my achievement, I've been able to set up a class for residents and they've been enjoying it. Every achievement that you've made, write it down. So this is very important as well. Even though you might think it's not important, it's very, very important, because the hiring manager wants to see what you've been able to do in your previous experience. Because anybody can have a responsibility. People just sometimes write just these responsibilities that should be achieved in a particular job, but a hiring manager wants to know, did you achieve anything? Were you able to have any achievements in your previous job, or are you just listing down the responsibilities and things you should do? No, they just want to know, did you do them? Did you achieve anything? Point it out. Show them that you have achieved a lot. The next thing is your qualifications and your trainings. So any qualifications you've had, any trainings you've had, this is the point you have to write them down. So qualifications, actually there are no specific qualification that is needed to be a carer in the UK, but it's very, very, very important that you do some courses, at least a care certificate course. You can write down all the courses that you've done. So make sure you try to do some theoretical practical courses, because this will give you an edge over the other applicants. So this is the point you have to write them down. The GCSE in maths, in English, very, very important, because you're going to be looking after patients that speak English. So you have to make sure that you tell the hiring manager that you know how to speak English. If you have your English exam, this is the point you have to write it down, that you have IELTS certificates, you have care certificates, you've gone through fire safety trainings, you've gone through resuscitation trainings, you've gone through all of those things that you think that you've done, those certificates. Write them down, tell them you have them. When it comes to English, you could also tell them that you were taught in English, because most of the schools back home we are being taught in English. All these schools we are being taught in English. So this is very, very important as well. You might think it's nothing, but just write it down that all your life you've been in a country that where they speak English, in offices everywhere, and you were taught in English from your primary school days and up to your university days. So it's very important because they want to know if you're able to communicate with the patients effectively. So the next thing is going on to describe your responsibilities. So this is where I think it gets crowded because there are so many responsibilities, and if you don't know the responsibilities of the job you're going for, whether it's a nurse or a carer, you can go online and check the responsibilities, right? So the easy quick responsibilities could be making sure that you give patients their washes, making sure that you feed patients and all of that. So now this part needs a lot of editing because you don't want to make it very crowded. You don't want to list down everything and then make it bulky. Remember, we are just having 2 pages, right? So in this stage, just make sure you write the responsibilities that you think that you were exceptionally good with. So it could be something like, oh, I do lots of organizing in the care facility, or I do very good with keeping of records, and whenever there is a missing record, people try to call me to like find it out and all of that. Or maybe, oh, I was exceptionally good with doing my IVs and putting of cannulas and all of those stuff. So you can write down the things that you've been doing, but make sure you prioritize it, right? So you don't make the whole thing bulky and off the points. So make sure you write the responsibilities that you've been doing, that you were exceptional with, or you think that you were exceptional with, and then you can include the ones that comes with the job description. And if you are not very sure of everything, you can also familiarize yourself, read up, go to Google, and make sure you read up and know very well about every single thing you're writing down, because you might get asked about them on your interview date, and if you don't know them, you don't know them. That means you lied. Let's move on to additional information, because I think that there are some things that needs to be added additionally. So things like your visa status, because you are applying for a job for overseas, so you have to state that, oh, I do have a work visa already, or work permit already, or I don't have any of those stuff, and I will be needing some sponsorship, some kind of sponsorship sort of, right? So I think you should also mention this on the additional information. And then also, if you're writing your number, right, if you're writing your contact details, make sure you add a code of the country. So don't just write O double something like that. Make sure you write, if you're in UK, +44, if you're in Nigeria, +234, like that. If you're in Ghana, +233, I think. So just make sure you write these codes, because they're international codes, and the employer wouldn't even know the code of your country if you don't write them. So make sure you write the codes in case they want to give you a call or something like that. Maybe your email is not working, and then you can add your email. You can also add any other skill that you think you have. That could be fluency in another language. So maybe fluency in French or Portuguese speaking. That could be an additional, that could be an additional skill. And yeah, you're done. It's quite easy to do, but at the same time it could be confusing, because there are lots of information you're trying to process on your head. You are trying to write them down, and then you don't even know where to start. You don't know the format. If you've not watched the video where I talked about how to know licensed employers in the UK for care, job and nurses, I will just drop it up here, and I'll drop it at the description box, and you'll find out how to know employers that will sponsor your visa from overseas, because you don't want to end up applying for jobs when they're not going to sponsor you. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you on my next one. Bye.